just stopped and wondered how a completely fabricated story suddenly, almost magically, dominates your entire social media feed? Well, today we're diving right into this explainer to unpack exactly how and why these false narratives spread online. It's honestly like a digital contagion. We'll be drawing on some fascinating research from Noah John Syracuse's work on algorithms and Lee McIntyre's deep dive into disinformation to dissect the anatomy of a viral lie. We're going to look at the human amplifiers who strike the match, the crazy psychological reasons why lies travel so much faster than the truth, the algorithms accidentally pouring gasoline on that fire, and finally, what the tech world is actually doing to try and stop the whole shebang.
We tend to think of fake news as this evenly distributed societal flaw, right? Like millions of people are all simultaneously deciding to create and share bad information. But actually, scratch that, it's a total illusion. Based on a study by the Center for Countering Digital Hate, just 12 people, literally a dozen individuals, were responsible for 65% of a major anti-vaccine disinformation narrative on Twitter. And an internal Facebook study totally backed this up, finding that just 111 accounts were spreading half of all their anti-vaccine disinformation. Without amplification, disinformation is basically useless. But when a liar gets a massive megaphone, the impact is absolutely devastating.
So, to put that into perspective, a microscopic fraction of users are driving the vast majority of the problem. A landmark study mapping the 2016 US election found that a mere 0.1% of studied users acting as super sharers were responsible for sharing 80% of the fake news on Twitter. That's wild. It means you and your friends really aren't the primary ones spreading the stuff. Instead, we're looking at a hyper-concentrated network of highly motivated actors. Okay, let's move right into Section 1, the disinformation superspreaders. Let's find out exactly who starts the fire.
When we look at the mechanics of social spread from our source material, we find that high-volume amplifiers are the real patient zero of any digital outbreak. These definitely aren't your average users just logging on to check in with their family. No, they're a mix of highly partisan individuals, foreign influence operations, and most notably, automated systems designed entirely to game the network.
So, how exactly does one person appear to be everywhere at once online? Well, they use what are called cyborg accounts. These are partially automated accounts, kind of like a hybrid between a bot and a human. The human provides the nuanced, realistic-sounding text, and then the bot handles the rapid-fire distribution. The data shows these super sharers average 70 posts a day. Compare that to a normal user's average of just one post every 10 days. It's basically an industrialized assembly line of content. But it's not just bots, though. Traditional media and dark money lobbying groups also selectively amplify narratives, confirming biases rather than just reporting neutral facts. As Chris Hayes from MSNBC points out, constructing narratives is totally normal, but subverting facts to fit a predetermined story is incredibly dangerous. Whether it's hyperpartisan TV networks echoing state-sponsored propaganda or traditional outlets cherry-picking sensational details to drive conflict, human amplifiers right at the top of the media food chain give oxygen to the lies generated at the bottom. Moving right along to Section 2, lies spread faster. Let's look at some really fascinating transmission rates.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. When researchers at MIT looked at the entire history of Twitter to track true stories versus false rumors, they found a super stark contrast. Lies spread fundamentally faster, farther, and deeper than the truth. Why is that? Because they hijack our core human emotions. True stories typically invoke anticipation, sadness, joy, or trust, and they rarely cascade more than 10 retweets deep. False rumors, on the other hand, are engineered to invoke fear, disgust, and surprise. And because of this emotional hijacking, they reach 20 layers deep, and they do it 10 times faster.
To put that into perspective, false rumors reach 1,500 people 6 times faster than true rumors ever do. If a lie and the truth are in a foot race, well, the lie has basically crossed the finish line before the truth has even tied its shoes. It's honestly an uphill battle. Even when researchers controlled for an account's follower count or whether they were verified, human beings are overwhelmingly 70% more likely to hit the share button on false information. Look at the peak cascades. The most viral false rumors hit 50,000 users, while the most viral true stories struggle to even pass 2,000. And while bots accelerate both of them equally, it's actually the human users, captivated by novelty and outrage, who are making the deliberate choice to push those false narratives further. Let's jump into Section 3, the algorithmic amplifier, and see exactly how gasoline gets poured on the fire. I want you to mentally picture your own social media feed right now. It feels highly personal, right?
But these algorithms are explicitly designed to maximize your engagement, literally to keep you scrolling, clicking, and viewing. By serving you only what you already agree with or what gets you all fired up, they accidentally build this customized filter bubble right around you. You get placed in a homogeneous network, completely isolated from diverse perspectives. The hard data really shows us what actually drives that engagement. A 2020 study analyzed political content across the spectrum, and it found that, purely as a matter of statistics, misinformation generates significantly more engagement than factual content. For example, within far-right Facebook pages, misinformation posts saw 65% more engagement than entirely factual posts from that exact same demographic. If an algorithm is programmed to simply promote whatever gets the most clicks, it's going to automatically prioritize misinformation. It is functionally blind to the truth. It literally only sees the metrics. And worse still, platforms have actually known about this internal architecture for a while. Leaked documents revealed an internal presentation showing that 64% of all extremist group joins on Facebook were actively driven by the platform's own groups you should join or discover features. So the algorithms were actively funneling users into highly polarized and sometimes extremist communities, simply because those groups were really effective at retaining user attention.
The core issue comes straight from the source. The leaked presentation stated, our algorithms exploit the human brain's attraction to divisiveness. Algorithms unintentionally reward exaggerations and lies because they are solely optimizing for clicks and time spent on the platform. The machine learns that anger and shock keep your eyes glued to the screen, so it just feeds you a steady diet of both. Moving on to Section 4, Mutating Conspiracies. Let's explore how these things undergo digital evolution. You see, movements rooted in disinformation don't really rely on a single falsifiable fact anymore. Instead, they create what researchers call a meta-narrative. Think of it like a giant sprawling scaffolding. In this framework, any new discrete event, like a random power outage, a lost ballot, or even a celebrity tweet, is immediately processed as confirmatory evidence of a vast underlying conspiracy. Because of this tangled web of deceit, debunking one specific claim does absolutely nothing to stop the larger movement. They just hang the next lie right on the scaffolding. And when social media platforms finally try to step in and ban these groups, they just adapt. It's exactly like a bacterial infection mutating to evade antibiotics. These groups actively change their messaging. When Facebook cracked down on QAnon, the movement just changed its keywords. They swapped the letter Q for the word Q or the number 17. They infiltrated totally unrelated yoga and parenting groups by masking their ideology behind toned-down fake anti-trafficking campaigns. And, brilliantly, in a very dark way, any moderation against them was instantly spun as proof that the tech companies were part of the conspiracy, which just galvanized their followers even further. Finally, we arrive at Section 5, the search for a cure. Let's talk about how we can fight back. The good news is, tech companies and academic researchers aren't just sitting still on this. They're developing incredibly sophisticated machine learning tools to automatically detect and downgrade harmful content really early in its life cycle. Take whole post integrity embeddings, for instance. This is a holistic approach where AI evaluates the text, images, and comments of a post all together. Then there's deep entity classification, which scans the properties of a user's entire friend network to catch sophisticated bots pretending to be human. And, fascinatingly, network flow analysis can actually predict if a post is fake news purely by looking at the mathematical shape of how it travels from user to user, catching it before it ever goes fully viral. Beyond AI, there are some really smart structural solutions being proposed, like the circuit breaker approach. Think about how the stock market automatically halts trading during a massive crash. While researchers suggest intentionally adding friction to social platforms during a crisis in the exact same way. By automatically pausing or slowing the viral spread of highly contested, explosive content, we provide a crucial cool-off period. It essentially flattens the curve of a viral rumor, giving professional fact-checkers the time they desperately need to catch up before the lie reaches millions. However, all of these technical solutions operate in a very unique legal environment. You've probably heard of Section 230. It's a provision from 1996 that states interactive computer services aren't the publishers of the information their users post. Unlike traditional newspapers or TV stations, which can face massive defamation lawsuits if they print a lie, social media giants are currently legally insulated from the consequences of the viral lies they host and algorithmically amplify. This shield means their motivation to fix the problem is driven largely by public relations and internal ethics, rather than any kind of existential legal threat. Which brings us to the ultimate question. Can platforms whose entire financial business models rely on maximizing your engagement successfully regulate the exact type of content, outrage, fear, and sensationalism that drives that engagement? It's basically asking a company to voluntarily turn down its own profits for the greater good of society. I'll leave you with this final profound paradox to consider as you scroll through your own feed today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.